Hi, everybody. Kim Marshall here, co-founder of Swell Public Relations and host of the Global Wellness Summit podcast. And today, Thursday, July 16th, it's time for another Leader Livecast. But just for a minute, wanted to let you know that we will have some new episodes, 7 new episodes of the Global Wellness Summit podcast will be coming your way. So stay tuned for more information on that. These are more elaborate, nuanced conversations. The Leader Livecasts are a bit shorter, but they really are easy and convenient whenever you're jogging, walking, driving, filling your mind with thoughts and interviews from wellness leaders, giving us hope in this crazy time. So today we are so excited to have with us Gloria Caulfield. She is co-founder and executive director at Lake Nona Impact Forum. It's a real wellness think tank. And she's Vice President of Strategic Alliances at Tavistock. We'll find out what all those things are. You know, today you don't think so much about wellness when you think of Florida. It is a hot spot in the pandemic. But I think after today's conversation with Gloria, you're going to get some real hope and inspiration. So right now we're going to look and see, and we're going to go live with Gloria. She's old now because we've been practicing. It's so exciting. I love a woman in a leadership position in wellness. Hey, Gloria, you're here.
Hi, Kim. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. And I love when my interviewees match their backdrop. So thank you for doing that. And I'm wearing my flower jacket in honor of Florida because it's so tropical and beautiful there. But listen, Gloria, I was bragging about you for a minute. Now, help us, fill us in. Tell us, first of all, what is Tavistock, and then we'll walk through Lake Nona.
Yeah. So Tavistock is a global company, a private company, very diverse. We have about 200 companies across the globe in 13 countries. And it really ranges. I mean, our company owns the Tottenham Hotspurs in London, which is a Premier League soccer team. We have restaurant holdings across the US and in Europe, and we also have a very active, very dynamic life sciences investment arm, and so on and so forth. But Lake Nona is a very special.
Let me interrupt you because Tavistock owns Napa Valley Grill, one of my favorite restaurants in Los Angeles. I mean, you just don't know. Your tentacles are everywhere. So, and one of the Ritz-Carltons, I think. So it is wide, the reach of Tavistock. So congrats for working for such an exciting company.
It is an exciting company. It truly is. And no 2 days are the same. So it's a lot of fun.
Okay, so walk us through this entity called Lake Nona, because that'll position us for how you're coping with during the midst of a pandemic. What is Lake Nona?
Yeah. So Lake Nona is really a unique project. We are literally building a city within the city of Orlando that is of massive scale. So 14,000 acres, 17 square miles, and every aspect of you think of when you think of building a community is what we're tackling. And we're doing it in warp speed. The thing that is unique is really from the beginning, our chairman, our leadership had this vision of building to create the ideal place to inspire human potential through innovation and collaboration. And that really is our North Star for how we look at the project.
Well, I'm so amazed that it is all about learning. I mean, learning to live well and prevention, not waiting. You used to work at a hospital, right, where people come when it's already broken.
Yeah.
But proactive, joyful longevity so that your living environment and your community, even the centers of learning, what kind of things do you have in Lake Nona that no one would expect?
Yeah. Well, I think, again, the whole master plan for Lake Nona was very thoughtful around the people, kind of putting the people first. And people want wellness. They don't necessarily want it directly in their face. So having a culture and an environment that's sort of ambient and intuitive around wellness. But We have four sort of distinct areas of development focus. So one is a very vibrant, very dynamic life sciences cluster. And the life sciences cluster is what I would call the center of gravity, the economic engine for a lot of the project, in that we have one of the largest, most state-of-the-art VA healthcare systems in Lake Nona. And we also have a very high-tech children's hospital from Nemours, a beautiful state-of-the-art campus, a brand new college of medicine that opened in 2010.
That's crazy.
Yeah, 500 medical students, and really one of the most incredible founding deans of medical school that you'd ever want to meet. And there's a college of pharmacy that is affiliated with the University of Florida. So it's another unique aspect that we have these two big university powerhouses that have campuses and co-located in the same area. And Guidewell, the largest health plan in the state of Florida, has their innovation center anchored in Lake Nona. Johnson & Johnson has a business called the Human Performance Institute that is like right in the heart of the project. That is all about health and wellness and holistic living. And, obviously there's a lot of others, but, all of what I just mentioned has been opened and operational and constructed in the last 12 years. None of that existed 12 years ago. So it's really created this whole new economy, if you will, focused on health and life sciences, right in the heart of our community.
So to let everybody know, you're right in Orlando. You're 10 minutes from the Orlando International Airport.
Yeah.
Somebody told me there's 60 million people a year come in a normal year to Orlando. And so you're...
Can I correct you, Kim?
Yeah.
Until obviously very recently, we are the most visited city in the country. So 77 million visitors. We've eclipsed New York several years ago, most visited city in the country. So and it's for two reasons. I mean, one is we have one of the most active convention centers in the country.
Yeah.
And of course, the leisure travel and so on. But we are a hub for a lot of things. And it's a really busy, dynamic place.
So it's close to Disney World, of course. We all want to say that. But so Lake Nona is a community, 17 square miles, 14,000 acres, if I got that right.
Yeah.
And the thing that people don't understand, I can't wait to talk about the homes, and we'll get to our questions, but this lays the groundwork for how we can respond to coping in the pandemic. Your education piece, you can go from pre-K to a PhD. So early childhood education, elementary school, middle school, high school, undergraduate, graduate. What? That's crazy.
Well, education. And so if you think about health and well-being, it's more than just physical health. So it's really hitting all of the dimensions that make your life full and meaningful, the quality of life. So education has been a pillar of Lake Nona, really from the inception. When you have a residential base like we do, 85% of our residents have a minimum of a 4-year degree, and 45% of those are masters and above. So the first thing that people ask is, where do I go to school? Where do my kids go to school? And we have a obsession with education and providing the best education, and we continue to develop more options. So it's been a great journey.
Right. I will tell you that this wellness community idea, I think the Global Wellness Institute, and you are on an advisory board of wellness real estate for the Global Wellness Summit, I understand, Gloria, right? But
yeah.
I think they've recently defined a wellness community as a group of people living in close proximity who share common goals, interests, experiences, and proactively pursuing wellness across its many dimensions, right?
Yeah.
So if I had said in the beginning that Florida you might not think is a wellness center, but in truth, if you seek out a place like Lake Nona, you're planning for your future, your healthy future, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that what I have found with Lake Nona is that we have some remarkable residents. And I think whether you're, a resident that's training for a marathon, or some sort of a special, cycling event or what have you, or, you simply want to lose 30 pounds,
Yeah.
that, wherever you are in your wellness journey, what I've heard from our residents is they feel aspirationally their goals are better supported within the community. And that, and so I think that, as it relates to Lake Nona, whether it's 44 miles of trails where people have mobility options, where they don't have to get in their car, they can get on their bikes, they can get on one of our autonomous shuttles or what have you. If you're, looking at just the built environment itself, I mean, I think one of the things that we've taken a look at is, how do you optimize health within the walls of the places where we spend most of our time? 90% of our time is spent indoors.
Okay, I have to start screaming because I must move. I never wanted to live in Orlando. I did early in my career. But now you've talked me into it. I have been reading about the Witt home.
Yep.
Please, you don't need curtains anymore because the windows are smart. They go dark when they need it. You have a herb garden in the refrigerator. What is happening? The smart kitchen. There's a camera in the refrigerator so you can look at it when you're out shopping to see what you already have. How
Yeah.
about how about the sleep room? I mean, it helps you stop snoring. It measures your sleep. The pillows, the aromatherapy. I'm screaming. Okay, tell me more.
So thank you. I mean, listen, I think we're very curious people and we have phenomenal partners. And, as I said, most people don't really stop to think about this, but 90% of our time is spent indoors, whether it's between our homes or, the offices or, other places that we've evolved to indoor, creatures. And so we really started to think about it and we said, okay, well, what is a healthy home? And what does that mean? And, what are the innovations that are happening in this space that, we need to really get our arms around? And so we have great partners. We have partners like Guidewell Innovation. We have partners like Verizon and View, and we have academic partners associated with UCF. And we said, okay, what if we took a home that was within one of our communities and we created a living lab for smart and connected, healthy living? And that's how the Witt House was formed. And so the Witt simply stands for Wellness Home Built on Innovation and Technology.
Oh, I see. I got it now. All right. I wondered who Witt was.
Yeah. And we have room at the table for entrepreneurs that may have prototypes or early ideas. We have room at the table for large companies that have, new innovations in their technology pipeline. So, we have made it sort of a democratized environment where innovators from different categories can come to the table and contribute. And I'll have to say, it's been one of the most exciting things that I've been able to work on with my partners. And, to your point, we have smart windows. Why? Because lighting matters.
Circadian rhythm. Yep.
Yeah. And lighting matters. So we have an incredible partner in Fred Mazik, who's the founder and chief technology officer of Healthy Lighting Science. And what he's taught us that light is actually nourishment for our bodies, similar to food. And some light is very harmful and some light is actually quite good for you. And so there's a number of prototypes as well as commercially available products that, are throughout the home. One of the newest inventions that he brought in, very fortuitously in February, was a product called Cleanse, and it's lighting that helps kill viruses. And
okay, I'm coming. Save me a home. I don't need a big one. Just I'm coming. And it also controls allergies. I mean, you have environmental sensing. My son and husband have allergies. I pretend I don't. And I mean, if you could monitor that, and then I also read where you can do medical, you know, how we all do telemedicine now, that's just a normal feature of the home to
Yeah,
have a health coach
yeah.
online.
And I think that what we have learned over the past few months, and one of the things, the way I choose to look at the pandemic is that obviously we're in crisis, and it's one of the worst public health issues we've ever faced, certainly in our lifetime. But these types of crises create innovation. And, there were several months ago when we were sitting at our Lake Nona Impact Forum, and we were talking about advancements in health innovation. What we didn't realize is things that what might have been 3, 5, 10 years out are now
to understand you much better if I can get familiar with the way
like
you
3 to
I
4,
need your
5.
permission to help.
So telemedicine, as an example, is a great example of that. I mean, the adoption of telemedicine, we've been talking about it for years, has been in the single digits. But now you have providers of healthcare like the VA that are now servicing over 80% of their medical visits via telemedicine, so that they can still deliver the quality but safer. And we've all been in a position where we might have to try it, where in the past it was a nice option, but we didn't have to.
We
So
didn't have to. And also, my hat is off to you because veterans aren't always popular once they get home and we have to deal with the residual effects. They're
Mhm.
almost felt it's almost been like an afterthought, but you guys put them front and center. So that is very heartwarming. Now, before our time runs out, Gloria, let's get to our questions, right? Because we have so much to talk about.
Yeah.
So as the world slowly emerges from the pandemic, how has Lake Nona or even Tavistock been transformed, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, I think that look, in terms of like, I'm going to look at it more holistically and make, kind of reiterate the comment that I just made. Out of this innovation, incredible innovation is going to occur. And I think that, even with the Global Wellness Summit and the work that Tavistock and many other folks have done in this wellness real estate space, if anything, it's going to accelerate the adoption of wellness real estate and developments. And it's simply because, it is much more acutely evident why wellness in communities and built environments are so needed and necessity. So we're going to just see, swift adoption. The thing that has really surprised me personally is that even through this pandemic, we're having record home sales. Our
I mean,
our
it's
message,
amazing.
the wellness message is meaningful, and people are gravitating towards it, and it's just one small proof point in terms of how people are shifting their thought process around this.
Yeah, because as you know, the Global Wellness Summit has had these master classes and these, ways to keep in touch. From the get-go, they started these calls and
Yeah.
they're free of charge. You link on. I'll never forget that ray of hope of the percolation of interest in wellness real estate early on, because I think they started these calls in April.
Yeah.
And it has just grown and grown. So you guys are just confirming that growth. Now, through all of this, Gloria, what's been your toughest day as a leader and your best day through the pandemic?
Well, I think the toughest thing, at least for me personally, is just realizing how rapidly the world's changing. Um, and obviously there's something a little bit unsettling with understanding that there is just massive change that's happening around us. But on the flip side, as I just said, I tend to be an optimist. Um, and I tend to gravitate towards, thinking about, what can we learn during this period of time? Um, I think it has made a lot of us sort of become a bit more introspective in terms of, what's meaningful to us as leaders, what's meaningful to our families and to our businesses. And I think it tends to make you hyper focused on the things that really matter. So I think, that's how I see it.
Well, you are in charge of the Global Health Innovation Summit. What do you think the world can learn from those gatherings now that eyeballs and ears and
Yeah.
hearts are turned toward wellness?
Yeah. So the Lake Nona Impact Forum was founded in 2012. It is a small invitation only gathering, and our vision was really bringing some of the brightest, most eclectic minds to the table once a year to
Mm-hmm.
think about health innovation in a very holistic way. I will tell you, Kim, it was a bit eerie because the last Impact Forum was February 26th, 27th, and 28th.
Wow.
It was directly before the whole world turned upside down.
Wow.
And so, what I would say to you is that, at that summit this year, we had Seema Verma. She spent a full day at Lake Nona doing a town hall with our medical students. We had Admiral Brett Giroir, who we see on TV almost every day, as our top public health official. We had individuals like George Yancopoulos, who's the founder and chief scientific officer of Regeneron, is there in front and center in, vaccine development.
Wow.
So we had a moment in time that was extremely special for the health innovation leaders that were there. And we literally stopped everything we were doing and did a special session with Brett Giroir on our Lake Nona soil to give us a glimpse about the trajectory of COVID and so on. So the Lake Nona Impact Forum has been a really unique gathering. Our timing has been a bit uncanny in terms of being able to really touch on things that have, went on to become major issues and topics. The other thing I might, well, I'll pause there and see what
Yeah,
other.
because our link to the Global Wellness Summit, Susie Ellis is on one of your advisory boards, as it should be. We see that you've had Sandy Peterson from Johnson and Johnson. You've had Cisco's CEO John Scully, who's worked everywhere. Deepak Chopra, Sanjay Gupta has spoken at your summit. So this is a think tank where we need answers, and no time like the present to keep on opening our minds, right?
Yeah.
So when you hear all these great minds, what is one book or TED Talk or podcast that you've heard that we can all benefit from, do you think?
Yeah. So I would say, we've all been tuning into great content on over the last few months. I would say the one that's been the most impactful and moving for me is there's a virtual conference that was hosted by the Chopra Foundation called Never Alone.
Oh,
The 3-day summit on mental health and suicide prevention. And, that's another thing that we all need to be mindful of right now is that, this pandemic has exasperated already bad, situation with flaring up, more calls to suicide hotlines, more acute issues. And so I was particularly taken with that summit. There was 70 incredible, diverse speakers there, people speaking from their heart about, mental health issues in their families, mental health issues in their companies, what they're doing to take action. I think it's an amazing organization. And I think what organizations like Never Alone do is they take conversations that have been in the closet, if you will, and, in hiding, and they bring them front and center. And what that does is it gives permission for everybody to
makes
acknowledge
it okay.
what's happening in their own homes. So, that's one, I'd recommend to the group that's watching to keep your eye on some outstanding content coming from that group.
So maybe we can all look and see Never Alone if we can Google it and listen to it after the fact. That wouldn't be bad. And
Yeah.
then also, we've noticed on the Global Wellness Summit calls that the topic of mental health is so popular. The phones are just, the lines are crammed. We have a Zoom call and it's page after page.
Yeah.
And you probably saw, Gloria, that Mia Kirkos, our mutual friend, gave a presentation on love in leadership this week. I'm telling you, it's 6:30 a.m. my time. Like, I'm in LA, so I don't turn the camera on, but I just kept looking and looking on my phone at the pages. So we all need love. We all need a hug. Mental wellness is as important as physical wellness. And Lake Nona, there you sit on I would say, one of the mountaintops of wellness inspiration in the country. What gives you hope in the midst of all this?
Yeah, I think what gives me hope is I think that people really can be at their best at times of crisis. And I think we see a lot of examples of that. I see, I see unusual partnerships coming together. Organizations that typically would be considered our competitors joining together to collaborate on IP and solutions for the coronavirus. I see organizations like the X Prize Foundation that are, bringing together some of the best minds throughout the world to focus on the pandemic with the thought of we're sharing, we're not competing, and we're trying to come together to do things for the greater good. So I think that, in times like this, we've seen it through 9/11 and other crises in our lifetime that, people can really rise to the occasion and unite in a way that is so admirable and that creates results. And, I'm honored to be just a small part of that. So.
Let me tell you, we have been all talking and giving virtual hugs to each other, but it all comes full circle because we really do feel like right now is the time for a wellness revolution. And if we don't take the lead in showing people how to be examples, wearing masks, helping each other stay healthy, build immunity, remember our hearts and minds to keep healthy, it is on us, right? This is our moment. And Gloria, I'm so tickled to talk to you. I'm sorry that it has to be so short, but it's all full circle. I think
a lot of fun. You're a lot of fun. And
there goes the dog. But Dr. Richard Carmona, the former Surgeon General, introduced Susie, I think, to Lake Nona. And now he's going to be one of our new season's interviews on the Global Wellness Summit podcast. So it's all full circle. And Gloria, we look forward to talking again to you. So keep up the good work.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Enjoyed it.
It was great. We'll see you in Orlando.
All right.
Okay.